Record.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, February the 2nd, and the time is 1:30. The board is in session to conduct its weekly open business meeting. I'd ask the clerk if there are any changes to the agenda.
No, they're not.
Okay. I'd like to, for the record, if you could introduce yourself so we have a complete record. We'll start right here. Just introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is John Lee. I would represent Veolia Water.
Okay.
Terry Durden, Chief Legal Advisor for the Ada County Sheriff.
Alex Murray, Operations.
Joshua Brown, Operations.
Brad Smith, Assessor's Office.
Tim Klein, Treasurer's Office.
Sean Rain, Paramedics.
Bob Perkins, Ada County Procurement.
Mike Work, Operations.
Tony Geddes, your public defender.
Deborah Phillips, Ada County Operations.
Bob Carney, Ada County Operations.
Daisy Lewis, Ada County Clerk's Office.
Samantha Whaley, Ada County Clerk's Office.
Jennifer Hawley, Clerk's Office.
Richard Beck, Development Services.
Bethany Callie, HR.
IT guy.
Matt Clifford, Ada County Sheriff.
Nicole Solberg, Prosecutor's Office.
Oh, okay.
We have two IT guys.
Yeah, two IT guys. Are you deputy IT guy?
I'm learning.
Okay, well, good. Well, welcome to our meeting this afternoon.
Couple on the bridge.
Oh, we have a couple on the bridge. Yeah, we have Scott Goldberg, Jessica Donald, and Nolan Presnell on the bridge. So, welcome to our meeting this afternoon. First up, we have the reappointment of Frank L. to the Historic Preservation Council. Is there any discussion or a motion?
Well, Mr. Chair, Frank's been a distinguished member of that committee, and he was a driving force on the what was it, the Shirkawasalusa farmstead revival, remodel. What do you call it? Preservation. And so he's done a great job. So I'd be happy to make a motion to reappoint Frank L. to the Historic Preservation Council, term to expire 11/12/25.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up, we have the reappointment of Planning and Zoning Commissioners to a term that will expire on the 2nd of February and 26. I think we can take these up in one motion. James Birch and Ryan Colson, and they are extending. The both of them are on the board right now. Okay, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the 3 volunteer board members as listed on the agenda, with the terms as specified.
Okay, it's 2 for the
Planning and Zoning
Yeah.
Commission.
All right, is there a second to the motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. James Birch and Ryan Colson have been reappointed. If you'll make note of that, we'll send them a letter out. Okay, we have a new guest. Do we have a chair here for you? Grab a chair.
Thank you.
Oh, you're coming up anyway. You're coming up here anyway. Could you identify yourself so we know who you are?
Sure. My name is Parker Harrell, and I am Senator Crapo's Regional Director for Southwest Idaho.
Oh, we're honored that Senator Crapo would set up to do it, have a presence at our humble meeting. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, next up we have some resolutions, and so I'll open the public hearing on resolution number 2834. Any discussion on it? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is a resolution for procurement of public works construction for replacement of the Ada County Courthouse front revolving doors on the open market. So we went out to bid with bid 23016. We received one bid, but that bidder conditioned their bid on their terms, and it was over budget as well. So this resolution will allow operations to go out on the open market and procure these the doors more economically.
Well, great. Do we have any other discussion on the resolution? If not, I'll close the public hearing on resolution 2834. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve resolution number 2834 as listed on the agenda.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. I'll open the public hearing on resolution 2835, a resolution adopting amendments to the Ada County Deferred Compensation Plan to implement the Secure Act and other federal law changes. Anybody here to speak to this? Go ahead.
Chairman, Commissioners. This is a federal law that legislation passed in 2020, and now it is time that the details are out there, and we have to have this passed in order to ensure that we're compliant with our deferred comp plan for all Ada County.
For the deferred comp plan.
Correct.
All right. Okay, any other discussion or issues? All right, I'll close the public hearing on resolution number 2835. I'll accept a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve resolution 2835 as listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Moving right along. Now, we have Bob here. Next up, we're up procurement. We have a proposal, received an award recommendation for projects, $50,000 to $100,000, RFP 23017, SWAT Tactical Armored Vehicle Rescue Operations Training Course.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Ada County Procurement received 2 responses for RFP 23017 and would like to submit this letter of the proposals received and a recommendation of award for your consideration.
Okay, good. You can read the letter.
I'd be happy to. It's a letter dated February 2nd, 2023 to the Board of Ada County Commissioners from Ada County Procurement regarding RFP 23017. Dear members of the Board, the Evaluation Committee has evaluated the 2 responses for RFP 23017. A final ranking of qualified candidates was determined by evaluation scoring. The final rankings in order of evaluation scoring are as follows. Number 1, Integrated Tactical Concepts LLC with a score of 79.25. And number 2, SWATMod LLC with a score of 52. So it is the recommendation of the evaluation group to award the contract for RFP 23017 to Integrated Tactical Concepts LLC as the number 1 ranked proposer.
Okay, any questions from the commission? Hearing none, I'd accept a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to accept the recommendation of the Evaluation Committee and award request for proposal 23017 SWAT Tactical Armored Rescue Vehicle Operations Training Course to Integrated Tactical LLC.
Integrated Tactical Concepts LLC.
Integrated Tactical Concepts LLC.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, is there a second to the motion?
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right?
Motion carries. Thank
All right,
you.
thanks.
Now we have some carpet.
Yes, our second project on the board's agenda today is the review of bids received and award recommendation for Public Works projects $50,000 to $200,000, and that's bid 23018, Ada County Courthouse, 2nd floor courtroom and 4th floor TCA carpet replacement 2023. And Ada County Procurement received 3 responses for bid 23018 and would like to submit a letter of the bids received and a recommendation, or letter of recommendation for your consideration.
If you can read the letter, appreciate it.
All righty. It's a letter dated February 2nd, 2023 to the Board of Ada County Commissioners from Ada County Procurement regarding bid 23018. Dear members of the Board, Ada County Procurement received 3 responses for bid 23018. The following are the names of the bidders and the bid amount submitted. Bidder number 1, Designer Floors, and they have a bid amount of $89,290. Bidder number 2, Dillabos Flooring America, and they have a bid amount of $84,250. And number 3 is Wall to Wall Commercial Flooring with a bid amount of $74,968. So after reviewing the bid submitted, it is the recommendation of the evaluation group to award the contract for bid 23018 to Wall to Wall Commercial Flooring as the lowest responsive bidder in the amount of $74,968.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
So I guess this would be a question for Mike. Just, we replace a lot of carpet. It's not cheap. How do we decide when we replace carpet? Do we just give it every carpet the same lifespan, or is it checked for if it gets more use and gets damaged?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, we would like to be on a schedule with carpet. However, budget-wise, we focus on the main publicly used areas first, like the courtrooms. They do tend to wear out more quickly, the public hallways. And then as we see other areas that it's starting to wear fairly badly, we will go ahead and replace that as needed.
All right, thank you.
All right, I accept the motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to accept the recommendation of the evaluation committee and award bid 23018, Ada County Courthouse, second floor courtrooms, and fourth floor TCA carpet replacement 2023 to wall-to-wall
Wall-to-wall commercial flooring.
wall-to-wall commercial flooring in the amount of $74,965.
$68.
$68.
Okay, is there,
Second, I second.
okay, thank you. You've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Right?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thanks, Commissioners.
All right. Thank you. Okay, we next have up on the agenda, we have a change order. Change order number 2, Ada County landfill design build of metal building agreement. It's agreement number 14297. It's a time extension. Do we have anybody here to talk to that?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go ahead.
Commissioners, the Ada County landfill building was scheduled to be finished 4 days ago, Monday. Unfortunately, we ran into some long lead items, specifically around the electrical gear and some siding. We've come to an agreement with the contractor that we would extend it for 30 days, approximately to February 27th. And after that, time's up. We gotta move in.
All right.
So it's a zero cost change to the county, just extending the time to the contract.
Time frame. All right, good enough. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the change order number 2 as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, now we have a peddler's license, a catering permit, and a new license. Do we have any discussion or any issues there? There's one new peddler's license, 2 catering permits, and 2 new licenses. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'd accept a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the one peddler solicitor license as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the appropriate document on behalf of the board.
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Now I have 2 catering permits and 2 new licenses. I'll accept the motion on those 2.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the remaining licenses as listed on the agenda, including 2 catering permits and 2 new licenses, and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
I second the motion.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We have clerk's office here. Are you representing the clerk's office here? Okay, Daisy.
Yes.
Well, come on up here. You need to sit up here and give us a report.
Maybe from back here.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
We're geared right up for the March 14th election, so everything's in place for that, and we're working hard on getting everything in position. We also hired an assistant chief deputy, Heath Riorby, he's previously worked at the state controller's office, so he's going to start with our office the end of the month, and we'll bring him around for introductions and get him familiar with all of this. So,
To be assistant deputy?
assistant chief deputy, yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
third in line.
Third, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Or assistant to the deputy.
It could be.
Well, anything else, Dave?
That's it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Did we, is this the first election we're using ballots from the new vendor because Caxton Printing isn't doing them anymore?
I'm not 100% sure on that, but I can get you that answer.
Better call Saul.
Yep, better call Saul. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, next up is our claims journal. For those of you new to here, like the senators, claims journal is where we pay all our bills for the week. And so we have a whole list of bills and we authorize the payment. So do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to ratify and authorize the payment of the claims as listed on the claims journal dated and pay on January 31st, 2023.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. You've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. We next up have personnel actions. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the personnel actions as listed on the agenda and that the summary sheet remain on file in the Commissioner's office.
I second the motion.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We next have the assessor's office. Brad's carrying the weight for the assessor's office today.
Good afternoon. Rebecca's at the assessors conference today, so I gotta come down here. And today we only have 12 tax cancellations. We're gonna try to rotate them, so we're only doing them every other week to kind of minimize them, so nothing too exciting.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
That's it. 12 tax cancellations that are really not cancellations, they're adjustments.
Correct.
But the code says cancellations, so we call them cancellations.
Correct.
All right. Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the tax cancellations as listed on the agenda, which includes 12 tax cancellations for 2022, and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, now, next up is the treasurer's office. I guess you're gonna do the treasurer's office today.
Afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners.
Welcome to our meeting.
Yeah, Beth's at the Treasurers Conference today, so I'm here on behalf of the Treasurer's Office. We just got done talking about these tax cancellation / adjustments, and I'm happy to report that all the hundreds and hundreds of them that have been coming in since the relatively new legislative changes, we finally caught up to them, and we've cleared all of them, except for these that are coming down.
Well, great. Congratulations.
Yes.
Thanks. Yeah, our staff works diligently on those, and we try to keep up, and they've been doing a great job. Each of those can take maybe on average about 30 minutes, so quite a bit of work for us. Since it's the beginning of a new month, we're preparing our month-end investment report and all our bank account reconciliations right now. And pretty much that's it for updates for the Treasurer's Office today.
All right, any questions from the commission? Hearing none, thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks.
Moving on, development services. We have application 201-702-144SF, Charter Point Meadows East subdivision. Final plat consisting of 12 fourplex lots and 1 common lot. Property is located at 7449 and 7477 South Maple Grove Road and contains approximately 3.5 acres. You have anything else you want to tell us about it, Richard?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you. We've reviewed this final plat application and submission, find that the developer has been able to comply with the applicable conditions and that the plat complies with state and county codes, and recommend that the board authorize the chair to sign the plat.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the application number 201702144/S/F, Charter Point Meadows East Subdivision number 4, and authorize the chair to sign and stamp the final plat on behalf of the board.
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I see you've got it down there at your foot there. We'll take care of it after the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner.
All right, now we have approval of the minutes for a public hearing, an open business meeting, and an indigent hearing, general session. I will accept the motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the minutes as identified on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, now we have a grant application, number 2301A, grant application to Bureau of Justice State Criminal Alien Assistance Program for reimbursement to jails for housing qualified aliens. Award amount to be determined. No county match required. Does the sheriff want to mention, talk anything about this?
I can't feel it.
Yeah, we'd like.
Terry can pick me up on it.
Okay.
But he does not even pay attention.
All right. Well, I gotta wake you up.
As far as the SCAP program goes, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Basically, any undocumented citizens that have been housed in our
facility for amount of time, they basically reimburse us for the amount that they were in there. So they
Do they pay us more than the state?
they pay us more? No, they do not.
They do not. Okay, any other questions? And this is just the application, it's pretty perfunctory, isn't it? It gets granted, does it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all right.
Do we get an average number of undocumented inmates, or is it all over the board?
It's kind of all over the board, and sometimes it's all over the board how they pay us as well, so.
You know, for last year, do we got a number for 2022?
Do we have the number? It's not a lot.
It's not a lot.
At all. It's not a.
And these are, are they in our jail for crimes committed in Ada County, or just because they're undocumented?
No, they can't be in the jail just because they're undocumented. They either have an immigration detainer hold on them, or they might be in there for new crimes.
Okay.
What's the difference between a qualified alien and an unqualified alien?
Well, one of them is qualified to be in the United States, I guess, for maybe a certain period of time, and the other one is just a undocumented illegal alien.
And,
All right.
and these are ones we apprehended or ones given to us?
No, it's usually someone that lands in our jail and then is somehow put on detainer. We don't take people into custody for being undocumented. That's a federal issue that we don't take care of as sheriffs.
So they're just determined on your taking that they're an illegal alien.
Yeah.
That's when you submit the applications.
And we are not an ICE holding facility, so those, when they are undocumented in our facility, ICE comes, picks them up, takes them to a different facility.
Good enough.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
the simplest explanation is this is the federal government apologizing for the hassle of having to hold them when they should have deported them in the first place. So they're reimbursing us for the cost of holding them and the fact that they didn't catch them and send them out sooner.
We ought to up the price then.
That was gonna be my next question, establishing a price.
Yeah.
They give
All
us,
right.
they give us like the state does, what?
Less than the state, yeah.
It's less than the state.
But it's something.
That's it. All right. Well, we'll just need a motion on grant number 2301A. I'll take a motion. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve grant number 2301A, authorize the online completion and submission of the grant by Nolan personnel of the Sheriff's Office, and authorize the chair to sign the appropriate documents on behalf of the board.
And I'll second that.
All right. You've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, now we have notice of lien. We'll need a motion to approve this notice of lien as listed on the agenda. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the two notices of liens and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right, now we have an interim agreement for Expo Idaho. It's a ski swap. I'll accept the motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the one interim event agreement listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we have Barber Park and Waterways, the Education Event Center. We have 3 agreements. I'll accept the motion on those 3 agreements.
Mr. Chairman, I move to accept the 3 Barber Park Education and Event Center agreements as listed on the agenda, and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Next up, we have agreements. We have 18 agreements. I've reviewed them. Is there any question or discussion about any of the agreements that's on the agenda today? There's 18 of them.
I think we could point out there's a few on here for settlements on the various opioid lawsuits.
Yes.
Litigation, that's money gonna be coming to Ada County. And I think the Veolia one is interesting. I don't know if we could have somebody talk to that, but this is first step of our using ARPA money to try to bring water to an area of the county where the wells are going dry. Somebody want to address that? Because I think that one's certainly I actually got some questions about it at our meeting, at the Riverside there.
Okay. Do you have questions for, the agreement?
Again, my name,
Yes.
Commissioner and Chair, I am John Lee from Veolia, and we have been working with the county to reach an agreement to use the ARPA funds. If there's any particular questions, I would be happy to answer them. Typically, any new development pays for itself. Our rules and regulations under the Public Utilities Commission requires that anybody that wants water where there's no water main has to pay for that extension. Developers, whoever. So.
In this case, we're paying for it to provide some help, provide some water for some of the. Some of the dry wells there.
Absolutely a good cause.
It's a good cause, cause it costs them thousands of dollars to dig their wells deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't have any, do you have quite a specific question, Commissioner?
No, I appreciate Veolia working with us on, this project, and, I think it's a good use for our ARPA funds, and, happy to have you on board as a partner.
Well, we're a little excited to get it done too, because with the amount of calls we've gotten over this last summer, and it's heartbreaking to not be able to help those people. So you have given us that avenue to do that. Appreciate that.
Well, we appreciate that. Any other questions on the Veolia contract?
I would just second what Commissioner Davidson said. That's in my area out there. We appreciate your helping us do that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Unless there's any other questions on any of the 18 agreements, I would accept the motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to accept the agreements as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair, the 18 agreements as listed on the agenda, and authorize the chair to sign the appropriate documents on behalf of the board.
Is there a second to the agreement?
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. We approved 18 agreements. Okay, now, the next item up is the weekly indigent items. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to accept the recommendations of the Indigent Services staff as listed on the summary of cases dated February 2nd, 2023, and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
I second the motion.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We appreciate your patience. We did have an Idaho Association of Counties Midwinter Conference, started Monday, went through actually this morning. And that's the reason we delayed the open business meeting to today, because we did want to get the business done. Is there any other business that needs to be brought on? Welcome Senator Crapo's staff here as well. Thank you. You're always welcome.
Thank you.
Any other business that we need to be brought before the commission before we adjourn? Very good. We're adjourned. Okay, good enough. Well, good afternoon again. The Board of Commissioners, sitting as the Board of Emergency Medical Services District, is in session to conduct its weekly open business meeting. Today is Thursday, the 2nd of February. The time is a little after 2. All three commissioners are present, and if we could get a record, if you could introduce yourself for our record. But
Parker Harrell, Senator Crapo's office.
Parker still here?
Sean Rain, paramedics.
Matt Clifford, Ada County Sheriff.
Terry Durden, Ada County Sheriff.
2 OT guys. Okay, thank you. All right. The first order of business is there any changes to the agenda?
No, there are not.
Okay, thank you. Then we have the claims journal. Can we get a motion on the claims journal?
Mr. Chairman, I move to ratify the authorization of payment of claims as listed on the Claims Journal dated and paid on January 31st, 2023 regarding EMS expenditures.
Okay. Is there a second motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We have personnel actions.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the personnel action as listed on the agenda, and that the summary sheet remain on file in the Commissioner's office.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now, the approval of the minutes for the Emergency Medical Services District.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the minutes as identified on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we have my favorite part of the meeting. EMS update.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, good afternoon. Don't get to say that very often.
Yeah.
And happy Groundhog Day. So I'll start off with our ILI numbers.
I saw that the winter's gonna last
another 6 weeks. Yeah.
Another 6 weeks,
That's
apparently.
what Fox
Yeah.
Phil said.
I hope not.
Okay.
So our ILI numbers are down to 3.4. So, and I suspect they'll probably stay that way. You know, we may see some surges. There was one variant I read about this morning. I can't even remember the name. It's the Greek letter for the two-headed dog, basically. I can't remember the Greek alphabet letter, but it's a variant of concern they're watching, but we'll just keep watching it. I'm sure you guys know that the president has indicated that the public health emergency is going to end on May 11th.
Well, it's about time. He said the pandemic was over about
In
6 months
September,
ago.
right. Yeah, it was a while ago. So, but other than that, you know, we're just kind of holding our own there and business
Will it
as
have an
usual.
impact on the governor's emergency actions?
I don't
You know.
Mr. Chair, I really don't know. I think the governor can do that independent.
Well,
of,
he can.
Yeah.
He hasn't done it yet, I don't think.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Anyway, okay.
Outside of that, we did have a print hearing on, I believe it was Tuesday, for the Senate concurrent resolution that I've spoken about, you know, kind of designating EMS as an essential service in the state of Idaho and directing the task force to come back with the different solutions for the following year. So that's good. I'll be watching the agendas pretty closely to make sure that we've got a group of uniform personnel from around the state. I don't know that we'll be able to get people from far north and eastern Idaho. It's kind of short notice when they publish those agendas at times, but certainly from the Treasure Valley just to represent that effort. So that's moving forward. Nothing to really update on GEMT. Things are still just moving along on that. You know, the public comment period is open now, so that was one time clock kind of thing that had to occur, and so we're still on track for that state plan amendment to be submitted by the end of March. So that's a good thing. Outside of that, just a short update after our JPA executive board meeting and the whole Narcan leave behind kit issue that we ran into last week. We met, and what the plan is we're going to meet with all the chiefs again here in a couple weeks with the doctors and really try to figure out what the issues really are, you know, why, because there are a few other issues that have popped up from other boards that we saw beyond Meridian now. And so we'll figure out what their issues are and see if we can address them and get the doctors to kind of allay their fears, because it's a good program and it'll save lives. We are seeing a lot more fentanyl come through the community right now. And unfortunately, young people are dying because of this. Young people that wouldn't normally be in cardiac arrest are, because they've overdosed on fentanyl or some type of opiate. So an important program, but so we'll keep working on that, and I feel pretty confident we'll be able to get there. It's just gotta allay some fears at this point.
Who are the ones who are actually leaving the Narcan? Is it EMS or?
It could be EMS or fire, depending on if we transported somebody and didn't have the time to leave the kit, then fire would leave it for us on, so it could be either fire or the EMS unit. But the important thing I think people have to understand is that these Narcan kits, if somebody overdoses on fentanyl, they're not gonna be able to just give their friend Narcan or their family member and expect that they can just leave them at home. Fentanyl is a very powerful synthetic narcotic that its half-life is a lot longer than morphine or even heroin. And so that the chance that they're gonna relapse and stop breathing again and start having problems is pretty high. So these patients are still gonna need transport to the hospital, but the data suggests that the most vulnerable time period for somebody who has overdose is 48 to 72 hours after that initial overdose that they'll actually do it again. And so that's one of the primary reasons for this program. But along with that is information about how to get help. And our community paramedic program will be coming back in May this year, and plans to also have them go out and follow up with these patients to see, did you get help? How can we help you get the help you need so that you're not at risk of overdose again? So really a good program, and just unfortunate we couldn't get it past last Thursday, but we got a little work to do still.
Have you had any situations like you just described in Meridian in relation to what was said in our meeting?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Daly, I don't know specific to Meridian. We do run into that occasionally where somebody will try to give someone Narcan hoping they don't have to call us and law enforcement, and they realize, a half hour, 40 minutes later that they're going right back to where they were and they only had the one vial. We've also seen patients that had 5 vials of the stuff they went and bought from Walgreens, but they got to a point where they couldn't administer it to themselves and nobody was with them. They were found later. But, unfortunately, time is brain, in these instances. And so the longer they're not breathing, the chance of somebody having an anoxic brain injury or a fatality go up. And so that's part of it. It's not that we're not going to be coming to the scene on these patients. It's just giving them a chance to survive that without an anoxic brain injury and, hopefully become a part of society that isn't abusing opiates in the future. So.
And you said it's broadened from Meridian to other. How many other situations? And are they similar to the Meridian thing, or is it different?
We're seeing it all over the county now, and not only just the county, I think all over the state, and I know Sheriff Clifford is here, but we're seeing it just everywhere, and not just EMS. There are many times that law enforcement may encounter it where EMS isn't called because they've just found the substance, but the person wasn't intoxicated at the time or what have you. So, looking at our data over time, we've heard this is a national crisis, but our data, at least the EMS data, suggests that we don't have a crisis here yet, but we can't account for the people that are taking the hospital in a privately owned vehicle, or if they didn't call EMS, or if it was a cardiac arrest and the EMS crew didn't know that it was an opiate overdose. They don't account for that in the data. So it's a little hard to determine that, but I think when you look at our data, law enforcement data, and hospital data, and you aggregate all of that together, I think you get a little bit better picture of what's going on. But I will say that it appears that in Idaho that we're maybe not having as big of a problem as they're having, say, in Washington or Oregon or California, but it's here. And we're seeing a lot more of it just in the last month. The number of overdoses has gone up dramatically. So I don't know if a big batch of fentanyl hit Ada County or the Treasure Valley, and that's what we're seeing now, but much of it is fentanyl. Where 20 years ago, you would mainly just see heroin.
Well, Sean, that's an easy answer. The cartels make more money off fentanyl than they do anything else because there's such a high volume of it. It's just taking them time, and we do not have a secured border. And so the border it's just steaming across the border, and it just has taken a long time to work its way up here. That's where it's coming from.
Yep.
And that's why we have this increase, because the first year of the Biden administration, we had 6 fentanyl deaths in Ada County. Now we've got numerous into that triple digits. And that's because it takes that long to get that fentanyl up here. Because these cartels, I mean, they're making the money. And they're making a lot of money. And not only that, but they have motivation, because if they don't kill the person with fentanyl, they get them hooked quicker. Because it's really addictive.
It is very addictive. Yeah.
Is it China sending it to Mexico, and then Mexico takes it across the border?
That's what Mr. Chair, Commissioner Davidson, I've heard that too. I mean, I don't know that for a fact, but that is what.
No, that's exactly what it is.
They manufacture it there.
Manufactured in China, shipped into Mexico, and then the cartels get a hold of it. The Mexican government has no. Would you see any otherwise?
Yeah, there is some instances of buying all precursors in China and shipping it to Mexico, and they make it there as well. So I imagine it's a combination of both.
Probably a combination of both, yeah.
Yeah, and then they just.
And that's actually why they see a person never, I don't think, grabs some fentanyl and says, I might die from that. They're taking another pill that they don't even know has fentanyl in it. Doesn't that happen a lot?
And the mix and match is so
Yeah,
volatile.
The cartels, they don't care. Oh,
Yeah, they don't know how much they're putting in a pill or the powder or
and
whatever.
so they think they're getting ecstasy and they die of fentanyl.
And I think I mentioned last week, we actually, part of our formulary, we carry fentanyl because it's a very effective painkiller, but we know that there's exactly 100 micrograms of it in a vial. We know how to dose it out appropriately, and the hospitals have been using it for years. And so it works, it's very effective, but when you toss a bunch of it into a pill and you don't know how much and how potent it is, then.
But anyway, we had a big meeting a year ago out at the emergency management. A bunch of FBI agents were there and U.S. attorneys, and of course they were talking about the dangers. And I posed the question, "Where's all this coming from?" They looked around and said, "It's the Mexican border." I mean, they told us that. So anyway.
Well, I mean, just a couple minutes ago, we approved several settlements with Walmart and Walgreens for the opioid epidemic, which is, I think we're saying we're taking that money under the premise that they helped cause a problem in Ada County, getting people hooked on opioids, which then transitions to the fentanyl, because that's all they can get now. And so I think it's, we're taking that money to try to alleviate the problem, which I think includes the Knox-Loan leave back program. So I hope, the other members of the emergency board there can kind of help see that, more information.
But you said that it spread from Meridian?
No, it's just, Meridian was just it was the mayor that was opposed
Yeah, he was the county, but you said a couple other boards are now?
Oh, yes.
One
One of the Eagle Fire commissioners, who's not the chair, heard about the program and wants to discuss it at one of his boards. And then, obviously, the Eagle Commission had some concerns. I did follow with that commissioner, and he's prepared to vote yes on it, but he had some additional concerns, so we'll have the physicians meet with him.
And part of the issue, I understand, and I think that's what the mayor of Meridian was discussing, is it's being perceived as a way to increase facilitating, and that's not it at all.
No.
We're not handing out a bong and say, "Okay, go ahead, smoke it."
No.
It's not that at all. This is here. We're here because you have somebody that's almost dead, and we're here to save your life, and we'll leave you one just in case he does it again.
And
or it's a relapse.
And then that, as you described, the 48. I mean, the length of time you think you're gonna taken care of, and it isn't.
Right, it isn't. Well, and the interesting thing too is that these kits are coming free from the Department of Health and Welfare, so basically they're coming free from the governor's office in one way or another, you know, since they work for the governor down there. So it's a program that's been approved by the state, and they're actually funding these
Well, they
kits.
sell it, Walgreens,
Yeah,
Costco
you
and
know,
stuff for $30 each or something like that, isn't it? Or how much is it?
I'm not sure how much they
Yeah,
cost.
it's on the NAD. Okay, how many
We'll get
hauls,
there.
how many hauls you doing today?
The about 3.4. 3.4.
We're down below then, aren't we?
Yeah, we're about to normal.
3.5 was the norm, right?
Yep.
Well, that's good. Let's keep it in that direction.
I agree.
Yeah. Any other questions come before the board?
One thing I'd like to bring up, just, the incident that's in the news right now out of, was it Memphis, the law enforcement, situation there. Latest reports are, I think EMS and firefighters also got fired as a result of that. And I'm hoping, that can help be a teachable moment for your crew, which I think the lesson is, if EMS comes across a situation like that, they have to render aid. And even if law enforcement is telling them not to, and I know that might be a complicated interplay where, if they feel they have to take orders from law enforcement on the scene, which, I mean, in general they should, but sometimes they can't. I mean, I don't know, Sheriff, if you have anything to say about it, because you posted it, but it's a tough one.
Commissioner, I would say, that's a good point, but we have a good relationship with all our fire EMS and law enforcement, and the only time we would ever tell them to not render aid is if it wasn't safe for them, and they know that.
Yeah.
And we all have a very big understanding of public safety and what we're supposed to do. I can't tell you what's going through all those people's heads, but I'm sure when Sean watches that and I watch that, we see all kinds of mistakes made by every first responder there. So because of the relationship we have, I don't worry about it. I'm not going to say that we don't continue to make ourselves better, because then we'll fall behind. But we work very closely, so they know when it's appropriate. And I've never been on a scene where I had an argument with a paramedic or a fireman that, hey, you're not supposed to do that. Right? So I have faith in our relationships here that we do the right thing.
You feel you have the same relationship with Boise City Police?
I think, we have a good relationship with all the police agencies in the county. It's like Sheriff Clifford just said, the only situations we really run into are situations where it's just not safe for us to go into the patient or that area yet. And, they do their best to make that happen quickly. Even when things aren't completely safe, but they know that they're there to protect us and it's in the patient's best interest, our folks will take that mitigated risk knowing that a police officer's there to keep them safe to get in and get to that patient. There was actually another case out of, I can't remember the state now, two paramedics, or a paramedic and an EMT, I think it was Minnesota, are charged with murder, where they went out and treated a patient poorly, put the patient face down on the gurney and strapped him down. He ended up dying of asphyxiation. And our folks are trained that we know that is something you never, ever, ever do. And so if you think about a situation that would be gross negligence, that would certainly be one, because they knew they weren't supposed to do that and they did it anyways. But the body cam footage on that was pretty atrocious. And that's the other thing that, my folks know, law enforcement knows, that whether it's a body camera or somebody with a cell phone, we are being filmed on just about every scene that we go to today. We've got people that have YouTube channels posting not only just our ambulance driving by and sheriff's department cars and whatnot, but video of us on scenes, down at 6th and Main on a Friday night, taking care of somebody who tipped over because they drank too much or what have you. So,
the frustrating thing from these other states is that when you see what looks like misconduct, they're still wearing body cams and they're still doing this stuff anyways. And so you'd think that would, fix some of these problems, but it's not a fix-all, obviously.
Right.
Okay, I think we've about solved that problem. All right, unless there's anything else in front of us, we'll go in recess.
All right, thank you.
We're adjourned. Thank you. Thanks, Sean.
You are off the record.
Okay.